I'm Richard Lewis reporting for cadred.org, and I'm here with a name that everybody is talking about. It's Suppy, the latest addition to Evil Geniuses. So, first thing I'll ask you, you've joined this huge organisation. In your opinion, is it deserved?
Well, I think it's hard to answer this question.
I thought I'd start you off with a tough one.
Yeah, because it'd be hard to come across as modest if you're trying to answer this kind of question. But is it deserved? You know, I'm not really the kind of player that EG normally gets. They get the kind of player who's like a tournament winner, a huge name. But I think like they're now trying to change their order of operation, I guess, and start picking up and coming players. So I think it's something where hopefully I will, you know, fulfill the role that they're hoping that I fill, and by that way I will deserve being on the team.
Well, just before we move on to the next question, I will hold you a little bit more trying to get you to answer it. I mean, because you know you've worked hard for this. When you got the offer, was it a surprise? I mean, were you completely blown away that Evil Geniuses had come in for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise. No other team really contacted me ever, and they were actually like the first team to contact me after the team that I was already on, Check 6.
Yep.
And you know, I had been doing well recently, so I thought maybe some teams would come contact me, but I had no idea it was going to be Evil Geniuses because, like I said, they usually pick the top players, so it was a surprise.
Were you? Well, it's kind of again a double-edged question. Were you nervous because obviously now there's going to be this new weight of expectation, and you'll have seen the way that Evil Geniuses players are treated by the community. So, in accepting the offer, are you now kind of apprehensive about what it might all mean?
Yeah, I definitely felt like a lot of pressure in the past week or two, and especially coming into this event, I was really nervous, and I was kind of really afraid that I would just come all the way from San Francisco, come to Finland, and then just get knocked out right away, and then people would be like, "Why is he on EG?" Like blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm happy that I managed to get past the first round. I was hoping I could do a little bit better, but I'm definitely pleased that I didn't get knocked out right away.
What about as well, are you going to be moving into the house? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Evil Geniuses house, and you'll have heard the frat boy house comments and all the rest of it, which everyone talks about, and I don't want to bring that up again. But you know, are you going to be moving in? And if so, are you worried about how that might impact on your game, given some of the players are perceived to be underperforming?
Well, right now there's no current plans to move in, and the reason for this is I'm sticking to staying in school right now, so I'm still going to be prioritizing academics. Maybe in the future, or maybe like before an event, I might go. But yeah, right now there's no plans. But I think it would be a good place to train. I think I've been playing a lot with them online, especially Muslim. I've been playing with him a lot, and it's really helpful having someone you can consistently play with and analyze things together. So I think it would be good.
Do you think you'll perhaps struggle to become a top-tier player based on the fact you are going to try and balance studies? I mean, we've seen players in similar positions like Stefano, and they've had to kind of say, you know what, I'm going to have to just take a back seat on the whole studies thing and concentrate on my StarCraft. And Johnny Recco, who we interviewed yesterday, a little 16-year-old kid, he's not going to college at all. He's going to totally focus on StarCraft too. Are you worried that the desire to be academically successful might hold you back a little bit?
There's definitely always that kind of worry at the back of my mind, and I do think it's a really valid, it's a very valid statement. And you know, last year I did have some trouble balancing school, especially going to Berkeley. It's very competitive and really time-consuming, and sometimes I wouldn't play for, you know, quite like I'd go like a week or two without playing, which was really bad. But now that I'm on Evil Geniuses, like you said before, there is that pressure to perform, and I'm definitely going to hope to be a lot more efficient and manage my time a lot better this upcoming semester, and hopefully I'll still be able to play enough where I can maintain a pretty high level.
What kind of support mechanism in order for you to do that has been put in place by Evil Geniuses? Without you moving into the house, what kind of assistance are they going to be able to provide?
They just provide a lot of, it's really a network of people who are really trying to help you out. All the players, they're great practice partners, as I've started practicing with them after I joined. And, the management's really great. They help me with all my tournaments and, signing up for which ones, dealing with the travel, if there's any travel associated with it, and getting me the gear I need to perform. So.
Is there any kind of hands-on management? One thing I do know from doing many interviews with Evil Geniuses players is, it's very official, it's very regimented. I have to acquire permission from the managers to speak to the players and so on. So is there any kind of like hands-on, almost like mentoring, I guess? Is there any of that from the management team?
Well, I mean, in terms of in terms of their encouragement for the players, they definitely encourage us to do really well. And, when we come off a loss, they help console us, I guess. So they're a nice support system, I guess. Yeah.
You said that Evil Geniuses were kind of having to change the way they operate, change the way they think about acquiring players, and you're a representative of that change. Are there other players like yourself out there in the North American scene? I mean, could you have been any one of like maybe 10, 12, choices?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple, or actually quite a few, and I could name a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
For example, Sandbox, he's on Infinity 7. He's a high school student, and he's really good recently. There's also Henderlisk and McKenjan, both Canadian players, and also going to school. One person who might be more well-known than others is Ostigi. He's also going to school in college in Canada, and he's one of actually the top college level players. So there's quite a few other people in my situation. Yeah.
If you're part of a new breed coming into Evil Geniuses and fresh blood, is there a worry on your part that you might be phase one of trimming the dead wood, I guess, from the organisation? Maybe players that no longer perform, and that could lead to some form of resentment or friction within the organisation? I don't know if it's crossed your mind.
You mean if they were to cut players?
Yeah, for example, if you were to not be coming in as just an addition, but effectively a replacement.
Not too sure.
Sorry, it's another tough question, I know. So, I don't know if you've thought about it, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there in the community who, again, as we talked about at the start of the interview, have said, these players, they don't really deserve to, be in an organisation as prestigious. And maybe if the focus is changing, the organisation might be listening to some of that criticism.
Maybe, but I think Evil Geniuses and a lot of the players are really close, including with the management and the players. So I'm not sure. I mean, I've only been on the team for
a very short period of time.
Yeah, a week or two now. So I'm not sure if any of that kind of plan if there's any kind of plan for that. But from what I've heard, everybody's really close. So.
I understand as well that you've actually been involved in organising tournaments at Berkeley. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that for people who don't know.
Yeah, so I actually organized my first LAN event when I was doing an internship in Washington, D.C., and I was 16, so it was really exciting. And it was just like a ton of fun, so I thought, maybe I should just keep organizing it. I feel like there's not a huge amount of tournaments for people to play, in the Bay Area where I live. Yeah. And so I started organizing them. People would come. They were just fun, casual events, and it's really a blast. And I really love to organize events like that.
Do you think you may get involved in doing something a bit more, a larger scale, perhaps an Evil Geniuses kind of branded tournament, anything like that? I mean, is it something you would like to do?
Yeah, I could see myself doing that in the future if Evil Geniuses would like to do something like that as well. So I'm having the 10th LAN, the 10th edition of the LAN very soon, I think in 2 weeks after now. And I've been trying to get sponsors and actually get a decent prize pool and stuff. So
should be easier for you now, though.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it will be.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely looking to grow it if possible. I'm also working a lot with my, we have a club on campus that I'm starting to make a lot more active. It's called Esports at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do a lot of events, and we're hoping to make the club very big and, you know, just a really awesome club.
So this is your first time at a summer assembly. Is it your first time in Finland as well?
Yeah.
So how does this event so far measure up to a Berkeley LAN?
Definitely not comparable. This one is way higher than that.
So are you impressed?
I'm impressed, yeah. And I mean, of course it's expected. I mean, here everybody's like super famous and everything, so it's definitely a much different tier.
Have you been starstruck by anyone that you've met? I mean, who's really stood out has been that moment where you're like, wow, I've actually met that guy?
I think I'm starting to get over it, but because I've started to actually meet people. I remember MLG Anaheim last year, so the one before the one last month. I was way too shy, and I didn't talk to anybody that was famous. I didn't even approach anybody. I was just so scared. And then last Anaheim, I actually talked to a couple players. Yeah. One of them was like Select, and he was really nice and cool to me. I was still kind of starstruck by some of them. For example, Stefano was actually watching me play versus Select, I think. Yeah. And I turned around, and he's like, well played. And I was like too nervous to say anything to him. I was like, I'm a big fan, and then I like turned away really fast. So nice. Yeah, there's still definitely people I'm very much intimidated by, but it's getting better.
But you're the star now, so I've seen a lot of fans around you where you've been sat playing. Have you had any interaction with the fans? Anything that's maybe surprised you a little? Signing mouse mats, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, it's still surprising to me that people are asking me to sign stuff. It's definitely a new feeling, so that's pretty pleasant, I guess.
I want to ask a bit as well just about the competitive field. I know obviously we're all still kind of right in the middle of the tournament. It might be too early to say, but I do like to ask people their opinions on who they think is going to win overall and why, but also as well maybe about players that are under the radar at the moment. Like, for example, you know, Night End's really sticking it to some people at the moment. So who do you think is going to win, and who's the dark horse?
Who do I think is going to win?
If you don't, of course. You can't say yourself.
Well, I mean, I'm already out now. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Guess that makes it easy.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people's answer would be Teja, and I would say the same too, but I don't know. He didn't seem as dominating as I thought, just from the games I watched. Idra took a game off him, Demuslim took a game off him, and a lot of their games were close. Yeah. So I don't know if he would be my pick. I think a lot of people would pick him, though, and I would say him if I hadn't seen some of those games. So I don't know, I think MC.
Everyone said MC so far.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, well, MC's, you know, he's dominating. He just came off GSL finals, so he's definitely in tip-top shape. But I could definitely see some upsets happening, and sort of is one person to really be looking out for. He's a really chill guy. I really like him, but he's also a really great player.
So kind of just to wrap it up, I want to just ask a little bit about, you know, plans for the future, because you have got a lot of interest around you at the moment. I'm guessing people are going to want to be knowing what you're going to be doing next. What are the big plans? Where are you going to be competing?
So I will be competing at WCS North America Finals, which is in MLG Raleigh. Yeah. And actually, yeah, I'll be participating in both events, so it'll be simultaneous again. So that's my next plan for the near future. Regarding other MLG events, it kind of depends on my schoolwork and, you know, how free I can be with my schedule. Yeah. But I'm definitely hoping I can go to all of those, because it's definitely a great experience and a chance to take out some top players and stuff. So, and then I also have this PAX conference, something that I got an invite to. It's in Seattle, so I think it's IEM, IESF, something like that. So I'm not too clear on the details.
Some letters.
Yeah, some place in Seattle. You guys can catch me there.
Well, look, it's been great talking to you, and it's great to see somebody kind of taking the first steps into the big time, because we've been interviewing the same players for kind of so long now. It's nice to get some fresh faces. So do wish you all the best and hope you have a very successful career within Evil Geniuses. To all the people out there at cadred.org, do stay tuned to the website. We're going to bring you more interviews just like this one from here at Assembly Summer 2012.